Hi, welcome back to Future Fast. And today we have Daniel with us to talk about the future. And for those of you who are here for the first time, or if you're missed out, or if you're wondering who's Daniel, then I urge you to please go back and look up to two other podcasts. First one where he talks about his journey, which is very important for you to get what is he talking about and why he's thinking in this manner that he's saying. So please go and get the first one and then watch the second one. In fact, though this conversation is going to be more about future, you will find the second conversation so much entrenched in future talk. So please go do that and then come back here. And for the rest of you, I won't hold back any longer. We'll just dive straight in. Daniel, once again, thank you so much for being with us. And let's jump in. I know in the last conversation, you kept talking about so much of future, and I was trying to hold you back on that. But what's your perspective on future? Where do you think future is headed?
So I'm an optimist, and I do see a shift that's happening. We're in the muddy waters where, things are being really turned around. So the water is being muddied, but with blockchain, with crypto wallets, and the mentality of the younger generation, like I mentioned in the last podcast, we're not building metaverse for us. We're building it for, the 11, 12-year-olds right now, generation that hasn't even been born yet. This is what we're building for. And I think there's going to be a definite shift in power from the corporations to the average person because of the hybrid centralization and decentralization of data and businesses. What I mean by that is the more people participate in the metaverse, the more they purchase and explore, their data is stored in their crypto wallet if it's done correctly. So with the World Metaverse Council, part of the regulations policy we're proposing is data is owned by the individual. And through the process of allowing data to be shared only through permission and being paid for your, I would say, cookies. So what that means is I walk into a storefront and I buy a pair of shoes, and then I attend a concert to see the Rolling Stones. That data will show two things. One, from an anonymous standpoint, someone bought a pair of shoes, someone attended a concert. None of my data. So that will be stored in the metaverse. So we have numbers. But from a personal standpoint, Daniel bought a pair of shoes. Daniel attended a concert, and it was the Rolling Stones. And it was on this date in this city. All that data is now categorized inside the software that we'll create that's stored inside your crypto wallet, my crypto wallet. Now you're a third-party vendor or company, and you want to sell to me because I've walked into a mall. You request permission, no different than how websites request cookie permissions. Daniel, we'd like to sell to you, in layman's term. If you allow us to access this content, specific content, so they don't get access to my education, they don't get access to my health, it's a very specific area, we'll give you 10% off if you buy something in our store. So now I'm being paid for my data directly. It's a one-time, so we can do it in such a way where it's tokenized, where data is not stored on theirs, but they can get access to and give me relevant information so that I can make important decisions.
And currently, banks, telecom companies, everybody else are selling our data and they're making money out of our data.
Exactly. So I think from a future prediction standpoint, that's where we'll head, where it gets flipped. The technology will allow the end user to own their data. And now corporations and governments will have to pay us directly to market to us to sell. And I don't mean by real like currency, it'll be in the form of discounts. So what's going to happen is they're going to up the prices and then give a discount. And so someone who doesn't give them access, they're going to pay a full higher price. People who have discounts will get paid the real price that they normally would pay at. We're not, silly in thinking that they won't vet around it, but at least they don't own the data, and at least now the power is on our side. Um,
But what what
so
what do you think could change in this course with this?
you mean from a
What
society
kind of an
standpoint?
what kind of an impact will the world have on these because of these changes? This kind of a change. Let's talk. Let's stick to only.
I, I think we lost sight of how valuable our data is and how important privacy is. And I think with all the breaches you see happening and all the information that is out there on somebody, obviously we can't turn the page back on that, but there's going to be a generation that comes up that will have all their data and privacy secured. And
Well, see, I'm sure you are of the same generation, so you remember our yellow pages. Uh, I mean, our kids are going to find it as a
yeah,
joke, but everybody's names, address, number, published and available in public domain, right? I mean,
that's a little different than knowing that, if I went on the yellow page and found Daniel Roopnarine and he does martial arts and he has this health condition and he attends these conferences, all of a sudden my profile, my entire
yeah,
world's
those
there.
things have been made available because of all this
Yeah.
Facebook and watches connected to our phones.
So when you are able to own and control your data and you start to shop, then the value becomes how important are you? And so my data now, people will want to sell to me directly because of my value in the world. Because if I buy something and I say I bought this, then it means that I think that has value in that product. So what I'm getting to there
But it's
is,
going to make the business so difficult, right? See, today, you were talking about earlier also, right? See, the Amazon knows what kind of customer buys what kind of product. See, which
Mhm.
makes it so easy. At least, if I'm making this kind of a product and I go to Amazon space, they advise me that your product is of this category, you belong here, this is your price point, so you should focus on this kind of a customer, and this is the kind of offer you should be making, and this is how much you can predict from a sales point of view, so this is how much you should plan your production. So this is how good it is, and which is necessary for me as a business to plan, because Amazon has the data. But the risk or the other side of what you're talking about is, right, one side, as an individual, it's great, right? My data is just mine, and people need to pay me a premium to get an access to it. But if you take away this aspect of it, it's going to be so difficult. How will a business plan production? How much to make? What colors do I make? What is
Yeah.
likely to sell? What is likely to move? What design will move? So that's going
And
to
I
be so difficult then.
and there'll be a transition period between, one way to the other. Where we want to get at is that the data that you allow someone to access doesn't tell sensitive information. So let's say you go to Amazon and you buy a heart pacemaker or something for diabetes or insulin. All of a sudden in your profile, oh, wait a second, you have a health issue. Now an insurance company that buys data and matches up your profile saying, oh, wait a second, these are stuff you buy. you have a high risk, you're denied a claim. That is on the extreme side.
Correct.
And what you're saying is on the easy side. Where we're going to head to is I will be able to control what data is out there. So if I do buy an insulin needle, I don't want anyone to know about that. If I do buy something for weight, I don't want anyone to know about that. That's my private stuff. If I buy a pair of shoes, I don't care who knows about it. If I attend this concert, I don't really care. So let them have that information. But
Mm.
having the ability to control who gets access to what is paramount.
So filter the kind of data,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what? How are you handling it, or what are you doing now, right? To even as a leader to drive the team and the people around you. What are you doing to prepare them, to navigate them, to take
It's
them through?
Yeah, it's a lot of inspiration because they have to believe in the product. They have to believe in the path of what we're doing. Otherwise, it's just a job. And what we're doing is so much more than a job.
You said
So
you have partners, right, in your business.
I have partners, my
So
dev team.
how easy or difficult was it for you to get them around to align to this vision of yours from
Not very
building
hard. I mean,
this?
I surround myself with the right people.
So you didn't have a
And
challenge because they are all okay.
yeah, I tend to find that people navigate towards me with the same sort of um, emotional connections
Even
and
with
thought
Metaverse
process.
Council, it was com- not too complicated
It
to
was
sell
easy.
this.
It was just like it was one conversation, and they were all on board, and that was so impressive because
Right.
now we
But
know we're
but the
aligned.
biggest complexity now is that you got to take it to the investors. So have you had a
Who
conversation?
don't align?
How have you had any conversation? How easy or difficult has it been for them to understand this?
Um, their human side gets it. Their business side says no. So from an investor
Business side
standpoint,
says no. Why would
the
a
business
business
side.
side say no to it? It makes so much of business sense.
Oh, I know. I think a lot of it has to do with the grandeur of it, how big it is. Um, and so and proof of concept. It hasn't been done before in this way, where you're creating a whole platform that creates a community that will give away profits to helping the world. Usually that's an NGO or a not for profit, you
Yeah,
know.
maybe. Why don't you keep that to yourself? From your personal profit, you can make it available. You set up Daniel Foundation or whatever, and you can, or your parents' name foundation, and you do that. So why do you even have to talk about it if that's the showstopper?
It's and I'm learning actually my I've divided up because I have a lot of different components to this, obviously. And one of the things that we're doing right now is what I call the Metaverse Mall. And that's the idea of dynamically creating metaverses that are connected to our Web2 marketplace, that's connected to our gamification platform. So we're building that out as a product where the idea is, like I said, sign up, create your account, give discounts based on points, and you don't pay until you make your first sale.
Hmm,
So I'm building that out right now. We should be done with our prototype in about 7 weeks. Um,
right. Well, that's
and
what
that will
you'll
allow,
launch in 2 months from now.
yeah. So in about 2 months, we're launching that.
Oh yeah, one more
Um,
question, Daniel. Sorry if you don't mind.
yeah,
I mean, you
please.
can choose not to answer. Uh, I'm just curious. Are you trying to get an investor for equity or tokens here, or is that equity and tokens?
Um, equity and tokens. Tokens is going to be a small part of um,
Okay,
of
tokens
the
are a
game.
small part. So equity is the larger part you're offering.
Yeah.
Shouldn't it be
Yeah.
other way? A small equity and larger portion of the token? Because this is going to be, I mean, see, what I think is this business is going to be so big, you need to attract so much of money. So you need to have a lot of equity with you so that you keep diluting over a period of time. So you probably have to put more tokens on the table and less equity so that you have a long runway.
So I'm going to say something, and let's keep it between you and I and everyone listening.
Oh, then we are on record, so don't say that. Then.
I'm
So
not a
I
big
don't
believer
want
in
to.
tokens. Yeah, I'm
You're
not
not a
a
big
big believer
believer.
in tokens. I think that um, tokens are useful from an in-game type environment where you
No,
can
but
use
what if
token.
you securitize token on the business of it? So tokens represent the value of your business. So like a share, only difference it would be that it does not give away like a share in your company or equity. It will not give away the control. It will only give the value.
Uh,
So
I haven't thought about it thoroughly on that side, and I'm happy to kind of talk to you about that. Uh,
oh yeah, I think yeah we can do that. We can talk
yeah,
about it. Sure.
I have my
I'll
strengths. I
sure.
have my strengths. Investments and the financial part of it is not my strength.
We will surely talk about it. And now, what do you advise for businesses? How do you think they should prepare for this future that you're talking about? Not the individuals, right? Individuals you talked about, data is in our control. For
Yeah,
businesses, how do you advise
I
them to
really,
prepare?
I really believe, and I tell this to all my clients. How can you gamify what you sell? How do you make it fun? Let's take a restaurant,
Okay.
for example, right? Can you add an AR component to the menu? And if you
Mm-hmm.
watch and if you scan and an AR digital asset comes up and does something, and if you watch that, can you get a free dessert because you've clicked on it and recorded that you engaged in some capacity with that menu? Can you gamify it where on your website and Shopify has done this. There's gamifying type of where you can play a little game, and if you
Mm-hmm.
complete the game, you'll get a discount or coupon code. I think businesses need to understand what gamifications is because a lot of people don't. How they can gamify in any way capacity so that they're prepared to, when they enter the metaverse, understand what points are, understand what the incentive is for someone to come to your shop because
Mm-hmm.
they have won a grand prize in playing a different game somewhere else. Because that's, I mean, Metaverse is evolving from things like Roblox, things like Minecraft. It's all gaming. So that audience needs to be rewarded for their time spent. And that's, I say it all the time to my clients. Um, Time is the most valuable thing that we all have. I can be the richest man in the world or the poorest. My time is the same as yours. I don't get it back. So if I'm spending time in an environment, reward me for it because otherwise I'm going to go somewhere else.
Right. Well, so, Daniel, three predictions. I know you made a lot of predictions, but through the course of our conversation, even in our previous podcast, you did make some predictions. But do you want to make any anymore, or
Um,
what do
I
you want to
think
make?
I think
Yeah,
life will be exciting.
for
Um,
everybody.
no, not for everybody, but I think um, in general, I tell my kids we live in a golden age in humanity. You and I are talking, and we're thousands of kilometers away. My wife's Chinese, and I'm Indian. 100 years ago, none of that would have happened and be accepted in society. The medical breakthroughs that we have, the technical breakthroughs we have, we still have wars, we still have economic collapses, we still have a lot of issues, but I can go down the street and get a bag of milk if I wanted to. I don't have to have a cow and milk it and make so we live in a golden age and we forget that. We're so used to everything we have. And it's just going to get better. The technology that's coming forward, um, we're going to see so much. Look at, what NASA's doing and what we're doing in space. That's incredible. And what we're discovering. Look at all the stuff that's being discovered in quantum mechanics and physics and in microbiology. It's going to be really exciting because we're learning. And that's what, it's all about. If we can keep learning and growing, yeah, there's going to be those who fight against it. Um, I won't get into that, but uh, like I said, I'm an
Yeah.
optimist. Um, I think from a work perspective, there's going to be so much more opportunities. You're going to have uh, virtual influencers. So picture this. You like right now you have YouTube and streamers and ask any 15-year-old who the biggest movie star in the world, they won't know. Ask them who your favorite streamer is and they'll list off five. And then you and I would not know any of them.
Yeah.
So you're going to have virtual influencers who will have avatars literally walk into places, cities, walk into a restaurant, walk into the business, and have their followers following them as avatars and turn around and say, I want you guys to support this business, buy from them. All of a sudden,
Are you saying it's a virtual avatar or the avatar of a real person? What do you mean?
a virtual avatar. So an
Virtual
avatar they
avatar.
create.
An
Yeah.
artificial
Uh,
intelligence, an avatar of an AI
no. So
will
I'm
have.
talking about like in Decentraland or Sandbox, you have an avatar that walks around.
Oh,
Um,
but that is one of us, right? It could be my avatar
yes,
or your avatar or
yes,
so
exactly.
it's not a okay, okay.
Yeah.
So you say that
It,
that okay.
so that virtual influencer, because right now you hear the stories of an influencer going to
But what
restaurants saying,
happens? Like let's say it is your avatar. Do you make money? Who makes money?
that's the position of the influencer. So
No money?
you, yep, no,
Okay.
you pay me to come into your restaurant because I have
Okay.
a
And you
hundred
send the
thousand,
avatar. Yeah.
and I
You
will
send.
walk in there with my followers and say, guys, I want you to support this business,
Okay.
and they will give everyone 20% off for the next 20 minutes. Go
All
first come.
right. Okay.
Then all of a sudden, you're going to have avatars who are experts in city areas where I can show you the Easter eggs. Walk down this restaurant has the best calamari. This restaurant is the best vegan restaurant in the city. By the way, don't go down here because that's where all the tourists go. Go over here and you'll bypass, you know, all the not so fun place. You're going to have virtual avatars educating kids in a capacity that has an AI component as well as a human component. There's going to be
Right.
so much more where we can get to the point where we have universal income coming in because the corporations will have to pay to participate in the metaverse to be able to access data or cities. They're making billions of dollars in profit, and we can create an environment where they have to pay to make sure that they get access to the users. This is not now. This is not 10, 15 years from now, but the generations coming up will see that's the way to go.
Okay. Right. Who do you think are the people who are influencing or working on things like this who are changing the world? I that you as you observe, not necessarily metaverse. Anything that you think anybody or the people you think are doing things changing
There's
the
a
world.
few people that are on the ground that no one knows their names, but they're the ones that are picking the plastic out of the ocean. They're the ones that are helping the homeless people who have mental health conditions. You have people who are growing food and giving it out to people who need it. People are actually making a change in the world. It's easy when you have money to make a change because you're being paid to do it. Have no money and still make a difference in someone's life. Have your own condition and overcome that and help that old person across the street, and talk to that young kid who thinks the world's terrible. It's those are the people that change the world. The war that's going on right now, there's so many people supporting, you know, refugees. Those are the people that no one knows about. Those are the ones that make a difference. Those are the ones that make the world a better place. Not the rich guys, not the people who are making it. They're getting paid for it. You're doing your job. That doesn't impress me. Impress me by doing something that nobody hears about.
Well, Daniel, I don't know what you say. I'm so used to hearing people's names, but uh, we have a group in Bangalore. They call themselves Ugly Indians, right?
Okay.
So they actually go about cleaning street sides, which are dirty and filthy. They actually clean it up and make it beautiful. They bring some aesthetic elements to it and make it beautiful. And
Hmm.
even when they were recognized and called out to give away awards, they just gave the name Ugly Indian. They didn't want to be identified with any individual who started it or who are the people working on it. So that was the first thing that came to my mind. But thank you so much for bringing this kind of a perspective to who are the people who are changing this world. Daniel, thank you so much. I think you
Thank you.
that was brilliant. Uh, uh, the listeners and audience, I guess uh, 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 we were uh, thrown from one future to the very different reality. So I'm sure you're finding yourself as speechless as I am. And, he really caught me off guard. So, that is so wonderful. Thank you so much. And I'm sure you
Thank you.
enjoyed it as well. And please share it with the people you think will enjoy it, like it. I'm sure there are many who this conversation was uh, so very unique, not just looking into the future, but a very, very human perspective to it as well. So thank you once again, Daniel. You made this
Thank you.
very, very special for me for sure. Thank you.
Oh, my
And
pleasure. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
I wish you all the very best for the Metaverse campus, and we'll stay in touch. I really want to know how it takes off, and
Absolutely.
anything can be done out of India. Be happy to. We'll chat up again. We'll connect on that. But thank you so much
Sounds
for
good.
doing this and taking time once again.
Thank you
Enjoy
very
the
much.
ride.
Appreciate it. Thank you.